To the members of the public joining us this evening, if you wish to make public comment or speak on an agenda item, please use the chat feature to send the host a chat indicating the item number or topic you wish to speak on. Thank you.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the administrative hearing of August 26th, 2021. I'm Peter Gilley. I'm the Community Development Director, also serving as the Administrative Hearing Officer. Starting off the agenda, are there any public communications or items not on the agenda?
No, there are not.
Okay, then let's go straight into the first public hearing item, agenda item number 1, project 15174.
Yes, thank you. This project is the proposed Ventura Music Hall alcohol use permit. Next slide, please. This shows the site context of the project site on Thompson Boulevard. The applicant is requesting a Type 47 alcohol use permit to sell beer and wine and distilled spirits in conjunction with music and meals. The current existing use is a live music venue, bar, and restaurant that will currently not serve alcohol past 12 a.m. on any day of the week. And this shows the current site aerial of the project. Next slide, please. The applicant proposes to open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 10 a.m. to about 12 o'clock p.m. Friday and Saturday. The exhibit here shows the different zones per their security plan of the existing tenant space. And employee training and for proper alcohol serving procedures will be established as part of this alcohol use permit. The applicant does own and operate 5 other venues in California that provide alcohol service. And the site has been operated with alcohol use permits since the 1980s. Next slide, please. Overall, staff is recommending approval of the alcohol use permit for Ventura Music Hall for on-site sale of beer, wine, and distilled spirits in conjunction with meals subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is the applicant present and would they like to speak?
Yes, the applicant is present. I'm going to go ahead and unmute Thomas Cousins. Thomas, you've been unmuted.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Kevin. Really appreciate that report. I just wanted to note on one of the slides, it said 10 p.m. For the Sunday to Thursday. However, I believe that was supposed to be 11 p.m. for the Sunday to Thursday per our CBP at the previous hearing. Additionally, on the report I read, there had been note of needing a separate live music permit, but I think that was intended for other non-music venue uses. And with the CUP, I was under the impression that would be struck from this report. But other than that, thank you so much. Really looking forward to being a great member of the community and getting started on this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item?
No, no members of the public have indicated that they wish to speak.
Mr. Cohen, could you confirm the hours based on what the applicant asked about, and then the condition number 26? I believe he said number 26.
Yes, thank you. The hours operation is correct. It's Sunday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. If we go back to that slide, please. Looks like there was a incorrect hours of operation show there. So that will be corrected from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and Friday and Saturdays 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. So we will make note of that change.
It looks like condition number 3 says what you just said. Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. and then Friday, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to midnight. So
Correct.
I believe that is what the applicant was saying. On the topic of condition 26, since we have granted a use permit for the live music type activities and such, will they need an entertainment permit, or does that use permit qualify?
That's correct. The use permit does qualify. So for the condition number 26, it's already covered under the previous conditional use permit.
Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing. The project's been reviewed by planning staff and the police department. For the most part, it meets standard conditions. I'm going to modify condition number 26 by adding a reference that the use permit they were granted, and I don't know what the file number of that use permit is, but I want staff to put that use permit number in there, noting that something along the lines of except as otherwise allowed by use permit and that file number, comma, there shall not be, and then all the rest of the condition can stay. So what that would mean for the applicant is if you do what's in your use permit, you do not need any other entertainment permits. And as we noted, the hours are in the actual admin order are correct. So I approve them subject to those conditions with that one change to condition number 26, finding this is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act based on section 15301A for existing facilities. Thank you very much. Let's move on to agenda item number 2, project 14972. Staff presentation, please.
Yes, thank you. This is a request for an amendment to a conditional use permit to convert an existing approximately 3,800 square foot rectory study center building to a single family residence in the R3 zone. Next slide, please. This slide shows the context and vicinity of the subject site in red in correlation with the surrounding residential uses. You can see the church off of Loma Vista Road, the existing church, and the large parking lot, which is connected to this residence. Next slide, please. This is a project street view showing the residence there with the green grass, and walk up to the front door. And to the right, you'll see the access to the church on the backside with the gate entry to the parking lot. Next slide, please. This is the proposed site plan showing in yellow the existing residence. There was a previously approved use permit, which included the approximately 3,800 square foot rectory study building. The proposed project requests to convert the study back to a single family residence. And no other portions of the conditional use permit are proposed to be changed. Next slide, please. So this existing floor plan shows the current layout of the existing building, showing where the study room, multimedia room, computer lab, and dining and living area, how it all worked together with the existing garage. The CUP that was approved converted this single family residence into the rectory study building, which was used in accessory use to the church. Next slide, please. So the proposed floor plan here, which is highlighted in red, shows how these study lab areas have been changed now into bedrooms. So there are multiple bedrooms proposed with a family room, and the dining and living room has remained as is, and the garage area has remained as is as well. You can see the exterior of the building will remain the same. There are no proposed modifications other than replacing the existing windows. And then access to the existing garage will be via the existing church parking lot, as you saw from the street view, accessing through the parking lot. Next slide, please. Staff is recommending that Administrative Hearing Officer approve the amendment request for the CUP number 79 and 398. We've noted both CUP numbers that should be recorded along with this hearing tonight, that this amendment is encompassing both CUP number 79 and 398. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant present and do they wish to speak?
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and unmute Susan. Susan, you've been unmuted. As well as I have David Kesterson. David, you've also been unmuted.
Go ahead, Susan, if you want to speak.
Susan, you've been unmuted. David, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, well, I just, it's correct. We are just changing some windows and building some interior walls. I think that we wanted to work out some of the finer points of the conditions, including the original CUP numbers. But we did speak with Kevin earlier today, and we feel like those are short strokes. We want to make sure that the existing CUP numbers that are referenced are correct. And it looks like he might have done a little bit more research in between now and then. And so we'll work out the finer points of any conditions and removals from the initial package that was sent to us. And we'll answer any questions that you might, that anyone has, or if the public has.
Okay, just to note that if I take an action on this at this meeting, then the conditions that staff have provided, those will be the conditions. So if there were wording changes or clarifications that you wanted to make, it might be in your interest to have them made before I take an action.
I understand. We believe that the basis for the change is related to CUP 79 and not CUP 398. There were also some repeated conditions that were basically just typos or copy clips that were repeated in the conditions that were provided that needed to be cleaned up. Was there anything else, Ann?
No, there was one portion of a condition which indicated some work to a sidewalk. That had been done with the original, well, I'd probably done it with CUP 398 quite some time ago. So the work that was described, again, done a long time ago, but the wording made it sound like it was going to be part of this application. Really, none of these things are anything that are insurmountable. I mean, if the conditions are approved the way they are, I think the project speaks for itself, and the fact that it's really returning to its original intent is,
Or its original
is
use.
original use, and in the original configuration even is such a minor change. It's really reducing the impact of the project on the neighborhood.
Okay. Madam Clerk, are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item?
There or not, we had Susan Beck wish to speak. She's been unmuted and I don't believe she's been able to connect. Susan, are you there? Looks like you've muted yourself again. Okay, I just unmuted you. Susan?
Well,
Susan, you've been unmuted.
yeah, she's having trouble, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Susan is our client. She's representing, she's pastor of the church and is just representing the church and was here to answer questions or anything you may have as well. That was our understanding.
Okay. So, Madam Clerk, no other speakers?
No.
Okay. So,
I don't know if Kevin wants to speak to
Yes.
the 79 versus 398 CUP numbers or not. Kevin?
Yes, Administrative Officer, if I can speak, in response to the first item, condition CUP number 398 and 798, there was an original permit case number CUP 79 that was recorded. We do have record of that CUP. There's been another CUP recorded, 398, within the staff report with a specific date. We've also included that subsequent amendment CUP with this approval to cover both, basically cover the bases. So if there is an amendment specific, it's covering both CUP numbers just to help the applicant in this case. In regards to the next comment regarding the condition in the admin order under number 1, it's a findings. There was language added under conditional use permit findings 1 that a condition of this approval includes the installation of a sidewalk to the west boundary of the property and a dedication of 10 feet along Loma Vista. This was not a condition of approval. This was a finding statement. So it's not required for the applicant as a condition, and it has been satisfied per the previous approval. And then if we go down to another finding number 2, there was a typo. So these items will be cleaned up as part of your direction today for the administrative admin hearing order and staff report.
question for the city attorney. Given that the language being talked about are either factual occurrences that have already happened or don't really have any basis in the proposal before us today, are you comfortable if I took an action to approve this permit, amending the 2 conditional use permits noted, with the general statement allowing for corrections, factual corrections to either the findings or the conditions?
That should be sufficient.
Okay. Okay, so I think that is going to be able, and the fact that there's nobody speaking in opposition who has a concern about this, I think that sounds like the best approach. I'm gonna close the public hearing. The overall proposal to convert the structure back to a residence, which it used to be, single family residence in a residential zone, that's a permitted use. So going to approve the amendment with the notation that this is amendment to conditional use permit 79 and 398, subject to the attached administrative order, with the caveat that staff will be working with the applicant to make factual corrections to some of the language, so long as they don't change anything of significance to the permit. To ensure that none of the changes are something significant to the permit, I would ask that any of these changes be cleared through the city attorney's office before the final admin order is issued. In the end, long story short, the amendment is approved. I think the modifications to the document will be made as the applicant has asked for. And I'm finding this is categorically exempt from CEQA based on section 15301A for existing facilities because the house is already there. So that concludes this item. Moving on to the third item, project 14945.
Mr. Gilly, staff does not have a presentation for this item. We are requesting that this item be continued to the September 9th administrative hearing.
Okay, Madam Clerk, are there any speakers on this item?
No, there are no members of the public who have requested to speak on this item.
Okay, then I will continue agenda item number 3, project 14945 to our next regularly scheduled administrative hearing on September 9th. That concludes agenda item number 3. Are there any staff communications?
Yes, Mr. Gilly, as you indicated in your decision on the last item, we will be holding the September 9th administrative hearing with multiple items for consideration. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. With that, we are adjourned. Hope everybody has a pleasant evening.